Good evening out there, YouTube. Needlebender785, Cleveland, Ohio. Just a quick video of what I'm currently working on. Quick update for the channel on some future projects for the fall that I'm probably going to be taking on, and just some good positive news, and basically let's go to get started with what's going on here on the bench. As you can see, got another 3cx3000 box that's just been completed, and I kind of learned quite a bit building my first one for myself. That's running over there, running like a champ, and decided to improve a few things that were not really an issue, but just kind of tend to work better. Wound my own choke for the plate choke on pure Teflon 16 gauge wire, and there's no connectors, no wires, just goes right to the anode cap connector here, straight to the choke, right to the James Millen connector, Mollix connector, Millen connector, whatever you guys call it. 3300 puff capacitor. You only need about 1,000. This one's rated at 10 kV, which is fine. When I first built my first box, this standoff was not there, as you can see, and I had occasional sparks that would develop there. It wouldn't short out, but it would arc occasionally. So I fixed that on my own amps, and now I know to use a standoff. And that once I used the standoff, problem never occurred. And this one comes standard with a pressure switch, so it works in conjunction with the power supply, and it sends a signal via the 4-pin microphone plug, which kind of serves as a communication channel or communication protocol with the power supply to keep up the bias. And also it senses no pressure in the below this RF deck for the tube, it'll shut down the high voltage and it'll shut down the filament, and there's not going to be any issue. I mean, I did a whole video on it about proper cooling of the 3cx3000, how to measure water column and all that stuff. So we taken all that into the account, and we're setting this up to the correct pressure. So if we ever lost a blower failed, or something got sucked into it, you drop a piece of napkin and it gets sucked in, you don't notice, and then you're going to save your tube by one of these devices. Got its own plate voltage meter, 10 kV. Got these upgraded tuner knobs. So you got two vacuum variables, all top shelf stuff. You got these big, I got these from these machine shop that sells parts for a lathe, for a metal lathe, and they're 1/2-inch knobs, and these are standard your input tune. This is going to be a switchless box. All controls as far as switching is going to be on the power supply, and that's going to be built next couple of weeks. But as far as this build, we have it's a very simple design. You got this one's this one is 7 puff to 1,000, and this one is 7 puff to 500. This one's rated at 15 kV, this one's rated at 5, and this is a coil that I wound myself, and 40 kV capacitor, 40 kV capacitor rated at I think it's 40 amps for the frequency. So I currently run one of mine. I've been running it for a couple of months now, no issues. I got pushed 10,000 RMS, even 13,000 peak through it, no problem at all. Take a look at the back. Got a blower. You got the filament connectors. Got our output, input, the communications port, our ground, our main ground, and our keying circuitry. This is going to have several redundant grounds. It's going to have at least 4 several ground leads going to the power supply, just like I have on my box. You're going to have a main ground, backup ground. So basically, if you don't hook up a ground, the thing is not even going to run, which is, I think, a good safety feature. It's going to have at least an emergency type of ground hooked up. Otherwise, if it senses no ground, the power supply is not going to turn on. So kind of a safety feature for a safety feature, which I think is plenty for what we're doing. The lid, it's going to have a chimney and all that good stuff over here. So this is just kind of the RF deck, and this is going to go to a very special radio operator down in Tampa, Florida, Needle Bender 777, and he's going to really enjoy this box. So as far as the other updates, other projects, building on a monoband tuner. Well, it's kind of oxymoron phrase, but it's going to be an 11 meter through about a 10 to 12 meter tuner. It's going to allow me to tune impedances from about 25 ohms to about 200 ohms back to a 50 ohm load. And what that's going to allow me to do is test different transistors as far as MOSFETs, and we got devices such as this that were donated by Mr. Prime Minister himself. He actually sent me this. These are not cheap, actually. These are really good. This is a MOSFET. It's not an LD MOS, but it's a MOSFET, and we're going to try to make a little amplifier. So right now, like as I mentioned my couple of videos ago, I'm not building the LD MOS box, the one that kind of started this channel and got this channel rolling. Had a lot of success with that particular build, and had some failures, but the failures were mostly for kind of unknown reasons. And I kind of know and understand a little bit what may be causing those failures, but they're all related to a momentary spike in SWR that triggers an arc in the back of the amplifier, and the arc eventually burns out the transistor if the user doesn't notice he's got high reflect. So if you have a perfect match, or you got a great setup, great antenna, you pretty much don't have anything to worry about. But you have a momentary, some kind of connector that's loose or something like that. I mean, the regular transistors will be able to tolerate it. Tubes, obviously, you can run, stuff will just arc over, but the tube will never get damaged unless you run it continuously. But the LD MOS, or those particular transistors, are really sensitive to open circuit, much more than a short circuit. And I mean, so I'm still kind of researching on the kind of as far as the durability aspect of those devices. I'm just trying to come up with another safety layer than having the thing blow up. And I've had a couple of users that had to have their transistor replaced because all of a sudden it arced over inside, after they've been using it for several months with no problem at all. And I have not been able to figure that out yet. So I'm just being honest and telling you that, there's been some occasional, very rare, unexplainable failures in the MOSFET department. And that's why I'm not really currently selling those things. But building a GU GS35B box and a single 3500Z box here as a driver here in the next couple months. But those are the future projects, pretty much mostly tubes and new MOSFETs that are going to be used with that tuner that I mentioned earlier. Anyway, kind of thanks for watching. This is Needle Bender 785, Cleveland, Ohio. And always like your comments. Feel free to contact me, and if you're interested, please subscribe. 73s.